Hi guys, it's Jason from Liberty Militia. Do you remember when Nick Clegg, for a start, do you even remember who Nick Clegg is? Do you remember when Nick Clegg said to Nigel Farage that the idea of a European military, a European air force was a dangerous fantasy, even accused Nigel Farage of believing in conspiracy theories?
This is a dangerous fantasy. The idea that there's going to be a European Air Force, a European army, it is simply not true. The problem with people like Nigel Farage is they swing at windmills. They see conspiracies everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if Nigel Farage soon tells us that the moon landing was a fake.
So this is the headline here. Political leaders propose the adoption of a shared European Union aircraft carrier. So this is Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer. She is the successor to Angela Merkel. This is what she said. The next step could be to start on the symbolic project of building a common European aircraft carrier. This also has the support of Angela Merkel herself. She said it's right and good that we have such equipment on the European side. Now, only a handful of countries in the world own and operate aircraft carriers. Your two big players are obviously America and Russia. Within the European Union, there's only 4 countries that have aircraft carriers. The UK and France, the 2 main players. Also, Italy and Spain have, on a much smaller scale, aircraft carriers as well. But France and Britain, the 2 major players of aircraft carrier power in the European Union. There's a small scattering of other nations around the world that have aircraft carriers as well. But having an aircraft carrier at your disposal projects a huge amount of power globally. You can put that aircraft carrier anywhere in the world and it projects a huge amount of power anywhere in the world. So this is obviously why the European Union are looking at this, targeting it as a future idea. Now, the cost of aircraft carriers is hugely expensive. So any kind of aircraft carrier built is going to basically tie in virtually all the European Union member states to pool resources to build and operate it. You don't just have an aircraft carrier out there on its own. If you could do that, like, the cost could probably be doable for countries like Germany. But, you know, aircraft carriers operate in battle groups. They're surrounded by multiple ships. They need to have ships that defend them, ships that refuel them, resupply them, and depending if they're nuclear or diesel powered. You know, it's a whole battle group to protect and operate an aircraft carrier. So the costs are eye-watering to own and operate aircraft carriers. So any future aircraft carrier ambitions the European Union has is basically going to tie in all the European Union member states into basically pooling resources, and it's going to tie them together in this military kind of union, which is ultimately going to be the end goal of the European Union anyway. This is the federal state. You know, we've said this for a long time. This is obviously the federalization, the federal state of the European Union, and combining a military is an obvious step that they're going to want to take. But this is hugely symbolic. Germany talking about the idea of an aircraft carrier. It's massively symbolic because only a scattering of countries around the globe own and operate aircraft carriers. So this is the European Union really saying it wants to be much more than just a trading union, much more than just a free movement of people. This is really the European Union wanting to project its military might around the world and start being able to use more than just diplomacy, start using a little bit of military might to muscle in around the world. Maybe wants to assert some dominance over Russia, over China. Probably not good for long-term peace. You know, the more you build your military, the more you are likely to use it and the more you're likely to end up in a war. So it's worrying from that respect. I don't really trust the European Union at all. So this is quite worrying developments. Hopefully the European Union actually collapses before this becomes an ultimate end goal. But what are your thoughts on this? I thought it's funny that the words are coming back to haunt Nick Clegg now of accusing Nigel Farage of conspiracy theories, calling it a dangerous fantasy. Yet here we have on paper, on the internet, Germany now pushing towards a European Union aircraft carrier. It's crazy times. Anyways, Jason from Liberty Militia signing off. Love to hear your thoughts on this one. Look forward to future videos. I'll see you then.
But this is a dangerous fantasy. The idea that there's going to be a European Air Force, a European army, it is simply not true. The problem with people like Nigel Farage is they swing at windmills. They see conspiracies everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if Nigel Farage soon tells us that the moon landing was a fake, that Barack Obama isn't American, that Elvis isn't dead.
That the whole point of the Constitution, which you supported, was to make the European Union an economic and a military superpower.
No.
And now you deny the fact they're trying to build a European Air Force.
It is a dangerous fantasy.
It's about... Well, you keep using this word fantasy.
Well, it is a fantasy.
Why are
it is
you
just
denying?
not true.
I thought you were here to defend the European Union.
No,
they want an army, navy and air force.
I also want to explain the truth and the reality,
Well, it's
rather
not
than
true,
this
is it?
fantasy world which you keep talking about, which simply doesn't exist.